Hi, and welcome to College Girl Chaos, a guide to becoming who we are truly called to be. I'm your host, Sammi, and I talk everything faith, food, and feelings. On today's episode, we will be talking about who I am currently and who I am trying to become. Who I am called to become. To start, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about myself and who I am. My name is Sammi. I'm 18 years old. I'm a freshman at Grand Valley, and I just rounded out my first semester. I am majoring in nutrition with a minor in biology, and I love talking everything God, feelings, relationships, boys, literally everything. And I just hope that you stick around a little bit to learn a little bit more about me, and to fix our mindsets and to become more like who we are truly called to become. A little bit about my faith life. I'm somebody who was raised in the church, and I grew up in the church. I was baptized at my church. I went through the confirmation process. I went to church camp as a kid. I went on mission trips. I've been to retreats. I have done a lot. And I don't say that to say, oh, I'm better than you. I say that to give you perspective on where I'm coming from. And even though I have had access to do all of those things, does not make me a perfect Christian. In no way am I a perfect Christian, and I probably won't ever be. But it doesn't matter if I'm perfect, because as long as I am becoming who I am called to become, then I am doing God's will. And that's my life goal, and that's what I'm supposed to do. Currently in my faith walk, I definitely have been dwindling from God a little bit, which is kind of interesting because I go to church like 2 times a week at school when I'm at college anyway. I'm home right now. And it's kind of interesting that it's been dwindling, but I would say that it's better than maybe it was like 4 years ago. For example, when I was in like middle school and early high school, I was very far from God. Did not care at all, but went to church more often than I do now, which is interesting. Still went on trips, went to church camp every summer, felt that connection for a week, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then I would come home and it would all go back to normal. And at some point in time, it was probably my last summer camp experience, which was probably 8th grade year. I came home and I was like, I miss that feeling of being on fire. I miss that I want God feeling, right? But again, of course, I didn't think about it until later in life, and now here I am, a freshman in college, so almost 5 years later, and I'm still waiting for that I want to be on fire again feeling, and it's still there. Oh, it happens every day. I'm like, I want to be on fire for the Lord, but I can't. Not that I can't necessarily, and it's not that I don't want to. It's just, I feel like there's something in the way, whether that's societal pressures, whether that's the wanting of being liked by my peers, by my friends, by the people at school, by being a people pleaser, by literally just making sure everybody is happy. But at the end of the day, you have to think about that, because why does it matter if everybody else is happy? Because is God happy? Is the Lord happy with me? Then it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. Because if you really think about it, I mean, why am I trying to please all of these people? If my only purpose on this earth is truly to please God, why does it matter what all of these people think? And, that kind of has hit me recently, like, especially since being at college, and I'm just, like, going out and being, like, myself and my personality, and, obviously I still slip into it sometimes, but I have really been, like, I need to stop people pleasing. Oh my gosh, it is like a crazy thing. So 2026 resolution, guys, going to stop people pleasing for the Lord. Also, my anxiety last year at an all-time high. Oh my gosh, I'm anxious all the time. It is not funny. But like it, especially to the point where I made a list on my phone last year, and I had been, like, with, like, over 20 guys. And I mean that in the sense of, like, starting talking stages. Yeah. PG-13. We'll say PG-13. And, it was because I was longing for that feeling of fulfillment, and I thought, oh, I'll just get like a quick fix like from these guys on Snapchat, and it just like that's just not the right way. God is the only way. So that's another thing I would like start doing in the future, is that like I need to seek him first instead of seeking things of this world first. In the Bible it says we are in this to be in the world and not of the world. You need to live in the world, but don't be of it. Don't participate in its cultures and its rituals. Be in the world. Don't totally close yourself off, but again, don't necessarily participate in everything that society tells you to participate in. And I also feel like social media is a really big part of people, like the whole people pleasing thing, because everyone wants to do what everyone is doing on social media. And I know I'm literally filming this for social media right now, but it's different. And I know there is a lot of Christian influencers per se that also do this type of stuff, and now there's people like there's influencers like me who is just being here and being real and being honest and just talking to you guys, and there's other influencers who are like, stop, the devil doesn't want you to see this, stop scrolling or God hates you, stop scrolling or you're gonna go to hell. And I'm like, so when is fear-mongering okay? Like, okay, yikes. I'm not saying that those people, not saying that their soul is necessarily in the wrong place, or their heart, they have the right intent, but fear-mongering is not the way, guys. I'm telling you right now. And another thing is there's just like, especially in young people, there is such a desire to want to be liked. To want to be liked by everyone. That's the whole thing with like FOMO, fear of missing out. Like everyone wants to be a part of everything. And you know, social media is great for that because you get to see all these cool things that people are doing. But at the same time, it can push you too far, and you can want to go totally crazy out of your way to get people to like you, and then guess what? You don't know who you are. And that is a cycle I've probably been trapped in for my whole life. I mean, I think probably since I was the age of 12, I've wanted to be liked by at least someone. And that's probably a lot of the reason why I try and go and find other sources, whether that's friends, whether that's social media, whether that's like doom scrolling, whether that's like making sure my post is perfect on Instagram, whether like, you know, I'm going to talk to all these guys because like attention, because of validation. We just want to hear it from someone we just want to hear it from anyone, from someone, that we are wanted, we are heard, and we are loved. And my friends, I have to tell you, God is that person. He tells you every day, I love you, I hear you, I care for you. He tells us that he knitted us together in our mother's womb and that we are made in his image truly. So, we might be made in his image, yes, and our lives, our destinies are made purely crafted by him. But he also says to come as you are and don't stay as you are. Maybe that's not in the Bible, but that's a belief. Come as you are. Come to Jesus truly as you are, broken, messed up, whatever it is. But let him work in your heart. Let him do the change. Be the transformation. In Romans 12:12, it says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Now, essentially what this verse is saying, the first part of it is, do not conform to the pattern of this world. That's what I was saying about the be in this world, but don't be in this world, but don't be of the world. Blend in enough to, you know, be a human, but don't blend in so much you get lost and can't find your way back to God. And then, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Open your mind, open your heart to God. Let him transform you. Come as you are, but don't stay as you are. And I'm not meaning this in a preachery type way. I'm just reading straight out my word. And the second part, then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Essentially, when you open your mind and you let God renew your heart, then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is. You'll be able to try out and make sure that God's will is good, which it is good. But you have to let him change your mind and change your thinking first. And that's one of the biggest things that I currently struggle with, is mindset. it's like, I mean, truly, in the last year, since working with my therapist and all, just talking about people in my life, and it's just like, mindset is truly everything. If you say something, then it will happen. Not in a magician type way, but in the sense like, oh, I'm so lazy, oh my gosh, I'm the worst person in the world. If that's what you believe, then that's what you are. If you truly believe I am the worst person in the world, then guess what? Your mind is made up. Then you are the worst person in the world. But if you change your mindset and you say, I'm lazy now, but what can I do to change it? What habits can I implement to change it? And that's another thing I want to talk about, is that there is a lot of things we can do. There's a lot of things we can do to be more like God, to become more like who we are called to be. And that's what I'm hoping that this podcast does. I'm hoping that I even just reach one person, and this is that this is their thing that says, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I want to change for God. You know, I want someone to have the same experience I did, where they're like, I need to change for God. Like, just like Alphaba says, we have been changed for good, except we're being changed for God. Ooh, that's tea. Oh my gosh, clock it. That was a really good line. That's going on the Instagram. And there's things that we can do to become more like God, and in the sense of becoming more like God and becoming who he has called us to be. Honestly, and one of the biggest things is we just have to talk to him more. Simply just talk to God every day. Just talk to him. One of the things I have been doing that helps me to talk to God every day is praying every night. And it's like, you know, I sit down, I say, thank you for today, all of that stuff, and then I just start going in about my day. I just tell him, like, I went to the grocery store today, and you will not believe what happened. And it's not necessarily like you're gossiping, because you're just telling him about your day. So it's not gossip, because, well, it's about you, of course. And in that, you can it helps you to re-go over your actions without overthinking them, which is a problem that I struggle with, absolutely. Like, for example, if I had a crazy experience at the grocery store, I'm like, okay, I went to the grocery store and this happened. And then I think about my emotions and my feelings, what was happening during that experience. I'm like, okay, was I happy? Was I sad? Was I angry? How did I react? And that's something, then, if you reacted with anger, then you can be like, God, please help me to be slow to anger, which is something that Jesus tells us. Another thing is becoming more truthful. And now, obviously, lying is a sin, but also being truthful to yourself. Are you using the Lord to get around certain things, or like, are you seeing certain things that are like, well, it's not technically bad because of this, it's like a righteous workaround? That is being dishonest, which is not okay. And a lot of the times I've seen people on the internet do it. I've done it myself, where I'm like, oh, well, no, it's okay because it doesn't explicitly say this. It's implied, bro. Be so for real. And I mean that personally as a conviction to myself. I can't exactly think of any examples right now, but I mean, I hope you guys all know what I'm talking about when I say righteous workaround. It's like using the Lord's word to defend I don't want to say a sin per se, but just defend something that maybe is not morally right or morally what you should be doing in that moment. Like, in the sense that it's like, yes, I know it's wrong, but also, oh, but God said this, but God said that. That's almost like taking verses out of context. And it's like when people on the internet say, oh, well, look at this one Bible verse that says you're supposed to do, and it's actually just like a verse taken out of context. I'm like, okay, but you have to read the context around it to like know like what that verse means, because sure, some things can sound really great when they're taken out of context, and some things can sound really bad when they're taken out of context. And people really like to use the homosexuality one as like oh, look at this, like God doesn't like gay people. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but did you read the verses around it? Like what? Okay. Anyway, that's a really good example of a righteous workaround. And I'm like, yep, okay. So off of this tangent, be more truthful with God, be more truthful with yourself, be more truthful with the people you talk to. Just like, be honest. Honestly, like they say, honesty is the best policy, but it truly is, because what benefit does lying, not even lying, just like not doing things or doing things you're not supposed to do? Like, You know, like, what benefit does that get you? Sure, it gets you out of like whatever thing you're in that moment, but does that help you later down the line? I mean, you have to really think about that. All of your actions have consequences, and they do, but it's also like, is this going to help the betterment of my soul, or is this just going to put me back, or put me farther back, or keep me stagnant wherever I currently am? And I honestly, this is something I struggle with. Guys, I'm gonna be so honest with you, I forget God is there sometimes. He is here right now. He's here, he's there, he's in this room. But I forget. And you know what? I could just be like, oh, I'm just a girl. Yeah, I could, or I could do something about it. And guess what? I'm gonna pick the latter. I'm gonna do something about it. Because what? Because, like, I hate that I forget about God. I wish I could talk to him 24/7 every single second of the day. I can't. Very unfortunate, I know. But that doesn't mean he stops being here. I need to remember that, like, God is there and he still loves me 24/7. And, you know, I mess up. I'm not perfect. Again, forgetting my God, it's a big thing. And so another thing I can try and do to become more like the person I was called to be is to surround myself with God. When I am bored, what do? Do I go for the TV? Do I go for Instagram Reels? Do I go for food? Like, what do I go for? Or should I go for God, pick up my Bible and start reading and nourish my soul that way? Because again, talking on the food point a little bit of it, we eat food every day to nourish our physical bodies, but Jesus is the bread of life and his wine is the blood. That truly is what nourishes our soul. Communion, our Bibles, that's what nourishes us. That is the eternal bread. We might eat bread every day to nourish our bodies, but these bodies only last for roughly 80 years. Eternally, are we starving our souls? If we are starving our souls of the nourishment, guess what? It's gonna die. And I don't mean that to be like fear-mongering like I was talking about. I mean that to be, are you picking up your daily bread every day and are you indulging? Or are you just like, oh, skinny is awesome? And I'm not saying that as like an Ozempic joke. I mean, it kind of was, but like, I mean that. Nourish your soul daily. Eat your daily bread. Eat the daily bread. Nourish yourself. Let Jesus nourish your soul. Because, I mean, they say, like, food feeds the soul or something like that. Let Jesus feed your soul. And, you know, if you're like me and you are struggling to remember about God, another thing I love to do, listen to some Christian music. And I know people are going to be like, oh, I don't like Christian music. And I've been like that too. I'm like, sometimes I'm a person who really likes alt rock. Like, that is my jam. I'm going to be honest. But if you really listen to the lyrics of some of those songs, they're not exactly pointing me towards God per se. And, you know, secular music isn't always bad, but again, even like me, I listen to music mostly for the beat. I hardly listen to lyrics. But I have to think about, oh, those lyrics, those messages, they're still affecting me even if I'm not listening to them. They're still affecting my mind subconsciously. So what I like to do is, there is so many Christian bands out there that are in all of your favorite styles, but they're just like Christian music. And even if you put it on the background where you're like doing your chores, washing the dishes, whatever it is, it still is nourishing your body. You're still getting those like quote unquote micro doses of God, because you are taking the time to actively put on something that is going to better your soul. And when you care about it like that, that is the biggest thing. And the final piece I want to touch on is thankfulness and gratitude. We are in a season of November and December where Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we're like, wow, we get all these amazing gifts and we get all these amazing things. But why? But why? Think about it. Like, you see everyone posting on Instagram, oh, 'tis the season, 'tis the reason, and the reason is Jesus. But really think about that. God gave us his greatest gift of his one and only son. He gave us the greatest gift of renewing to, like, he gave us the greatest gift of getting rid of our sins. We are forgiven over and over and over again, infinitely, because our God loves us. That is a fantastic gift. That is more than money and happiness could ever buy. And honestly, I wish more people saw it that way. I wish, like, Christmas time is all about the reason for giving, but we actually have to think about why we're giving, right? We're giving to each other to give back to the Lord. Think about it like that. So, in being in the season of Christmas, we have to think about God is our greatest gift. And that's something that is irreplaceable. That is like, Jesus is irreplaceable. And the fact that God would give up his only son to care for the humanity, to care for the world, that just shows what a great guy God is. And we should really give praise and thanks to God for that, because I know it's awesome to go on Christmas morning and open up all of those amazing gifts, but you have to think about God and think about Jesus. He gave his one and only son to care for you. Because Jesus died on the cross is the reason you got to open gifts on Christmas. And I know that sounds a little harsh, but think about it. I mean, truthfully, if in history, talking from a historical standpoint, if Jesus never died on the cross, what would life look like? Would I even exist is the question. And that's something you can really boggle your mind about if you really want to, but also just think about it. I mean, that is so wild. So because of that crucial moment in history is the reason you got to open gifts on Christmas, is the reason you get to have a Christmas tree, and is the reason you get to make a Christmas list and people get to go shopping for you. And I think that's another thing I want to start doing to become the true person I'm called to be, is being thankful for everything. Everything is a gift. Truly everything. The fact I got to wake up this morning is a gift. The fact that I'm here right now recording this podcast is a gift. The fact that I have the ability to live in a country where I just get to make a podcast on a random Friday because I wanted to. That is truly beautiful. And Jesus paid it all. And, people might be saying, okay, that's a stretch, because, come on now, Jesus didn't make America. Okay, guys, I know that, thank you. But, think about it. God gave us free will. So, he gave us free will, and he gave us Jesus. I mean, gosh, I can never repay that. Literally ever. So what can I do instead? I can give praise and I can give thanks, and I can be the hands and feet of Jesus every day, or try to every day. And some people being the hands and feet of Jesus is serving others, or it's doing acts of service and stuff. I've been on mission trips, I've painted houses, I've done food pantries, I have just done stuff for people around me every day, and that is being the hands and feet of Jesus. Because I mean, I have had people come up to me before and be like, oh, I had no clue you're a Christian. Wow, that hurts, because that shows to me that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. My actions did not reflect my beliefs. And if that is true, oh baby, we gotta step it up, because absolutely not. I take that when people tell me, oh, I had no clue you were a Christian, I take that as an insult, because I'm like, my gosh, I have to step this up. I need to do better, which is true. We all need to do better, but also there is so much we can do to be better, to be more like God, to be the people we are called to be. And it just starts with talking to him every day, being truthful with yourselves and other people, and just being thankful that you're here right now on this earth, and you get to live in a place that allows you to worship God. And I promise this is not a political thing in any sense. I just realized that kind of came off as political. I did not mean it in that sense at all. I just mean in the fact that we live in the 21st century and you're allowed to worship Jesus. I promise, guys, this is not meant to be political in the slightest. But that's pretty much, the things that we can do to be better. And now we have to think about the gap in between that. And you might look at yourself currently, I talked about myself and my current struggles. You might look at yourself and be like, okay, what is my current struggles, and what is my future? How do I want to change those struggles, and what is the gap in between them? And so honestly, I encourage you to write down things that are okay, this is what I'm currently doing. Literally just make a list, 5 things, and then make a list of 5 things you want to change. I literally have that in my notes. And honestly, it's helpful, because you're taking parts of your current actions, and you're taking parts of the actions you want to continue or pursue more, and you're making a gap in between them. And then when you see that gap, you take it and you break it apart one piece at a time. You are closing by talking to God more every day, by praying, literally just praying at night. You are taking one step closer and taking charge of your faith, and continuing that faith walk. I mean, they are faith walks, they are not faith marathons. My path might be slower than some people's, it might be faster than some people's, and that is okay, because the only thing that matters is that we are trying, is that we actively wake up every day and choose God, and we choose to continue our faith walk. We choose to close the gap one step at a time. And that, my friends, is the most important thing. Well, this has been College Girl Chaos, episode 1. I hope you enjoyed. Stay happy, stay healthy, and God bless, my friends.